Hello, everybody. Welcome to Run and Gun. I am Evan Lasek.
And I'm Kelly Warner.
We're going to talk to you about NFL this week.
All right.
All right. So, Kelly, let's
off.
talk about. Let's go with the MVP category so far. We got Christian McCaffrey, who's leading the league in 175 scrimmage yards per game.
Yeah. I've seen so much lately about everyone talking about MVP, and when I first saw it, I was like, it's so early in the season, how we were talking about MVP, but like, I just don't see him slowing down, so I think it's a fair discussion.
He's just putting up crazy numbers, yet he's still not being considered for number one. Right? I believe right now he's considered the number 3 in voting.
Because they always make it about the quarterbacks, like, it's Pat Mahomes probably still up there, and Russell Wilson, and honestly, like, Brady always gets thrown in there for, whatever reason. But I think it'd just be great to mix it up and throw a different position in there.
Yeah, it's highly considered a QB award, as QBs just continuously win it no matter what. Like, one year, I believe, I think it was Todd Gurley lost out to Tom Brady the year Brady won the Super Bowl, or lost the Super Bowl to the – no, won the Super Bowl. No, wait, it was lost the Super Bowl to the Eagles.
I have this thing that, like, you win the MVP,
yeah.
you probably lose the Super Bowl because Cam Newton won the MVP and lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then, like, I was glad when Wentz actually didn't win. It was Brady.
It was better. Yeah, that was confusing. Oh, God, I thought Brady's been to so many Super Bowls. I forgot which one he won and lost. But so
how many times has he won MVP?
Probably a good, maybe 2 or maybe. But you got Russell Wilson, too. You mentioned him before. He hasn't thrown an interception yet this year. His team's 3-1. He's thrown for 1,400 yards. He has a 73% completion rating. He's just going off. Yet he's still ranked lower in the QB categories, and people aren't giving him the love that he deserves, I think.
I totally agree. I think Russell Wilson is somebody that has just been always kind of underrated, which is saying a lot because I think he's always been considered good. But people don't really talk about him all the time in the star category. But it's like, how long has the Seahawks been consistently good? And whenever Russell Wilson got his big payday, I think some people were like, oh, really? But, like, just look at the guy.
It's like when you're 95% of your offense.
I just look back to, like, the Eagles Super Bowl season, and it's like they were pretty considered unstoppable, too. Mm-hmm. But, like, Russell Wilson ran, like, all over them because it's just – or they couldn't stop
Russell Wilson's just a whole different breed.
Yeah.
With Pat Mahomes, he's thrown, one touchdown pass in the past 2 weeks, and then gets upset by the Colts at Arrowhead, I believe, was it?
Yeah.
I think it was at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And
that was crazy.
I think it should hurt his MVP rating. It is only week 5, but that should hurt his MVP chances, that he got upset at home.
Just nice to see he's human for a minute because, everyone's like, all like, oh, my gosh.
It's like, wow, Pat Mahomes is a freak.
Great player, absolutely.
Yeah, but what do you think McCaffrey would have? What do you think it would take for a running back or a different position other than QB to win the MVP award?
Well, I don't know about necessarily McCaffrey just because what I'm about to say I don't think they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
But for a running back in general, I really think like the team would definitely have to definitely win the division, probably have to win or be like pretty prepped to go to the Super Bowl, and it'd have to really be because of that running back. Like, it's one of those teams where like the running back is the star, which I find is usually doubtful in a Super Bowl team because they usually a lot of the credit will go to the quarterback no matter what.
Mm-hmm. So. But with a guy like Kyle Allen right now, he's not the main point of the offense. It is all Christian McCaffrey. He's leading them to the record they have. He's putting up the yards.
Yeah, he's a perfect example of that. I just you'd have to see if the Panthers win the division.
They can finish first.
And yeah, because it's like he is carrying that team pretty well, but like how far can one guy carry the team?
Yeah, he is putting up historic numbers. Now let's throw it back to this past week, week 5. There were some very crazy games. One game I definitely want to touch on was the Thursday night game, the Seahawks versus Rams. That was a wild one, 30-29. Seahawks.
The Rams let me down again. I picked them to win, and they lost again.
It was such a close one.
Yeah.
I can't believe Greg the Leg missed that final field goal in the closing section.
How many times are how many? I feel like so far in the season we've already had a lot of missed kicks really make the difference.
These kicks are being real weird.
Yeah, there was that Bucks game earlier in the season.
Yeah, there was. I think the Titans even missed 4 field goals on Sunday, and that lost the game to the Bills essentially.
Yeah, and kickers are important.
I think when they moved the extra point back, people were just banging it home from 2 yards, but now they don't have that confidence to go 100% on extra points, and they're just overthinking it. But Russell Wilson going 4 touchdowns, I believe, against a great Rams defense.
Yeah.
Somehow still managed to win, and that put him right behind the 49ers for
Yeah,
because
because that was a race for second place there.
Yeah, that was.
Now the Rams are getting buried a little.
Yeah, that was a key game, but the Rams just couldn't hold it.
No.
Now, we'll go Cards-Bengals here, 26-23. It was the toilet bowl, but it was still an exciting outcome. Game-winning field goal in the closing seconds, but Kyler Murray picks up his first W as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one nonetheless.
I mean, good for him, but it's just funny kind of how everyone was so high on Kyler Murray. Like, I'm not kind of diss him, but it's still funny when he gets all that hype and then comes in and is 0-, I guess, was that 4? And that was the 5th one? I can't think. What week was that?
That was, week 1 when he tied with the Lions. That was pretty close. Like
So you come in looking good, but then and so everyone's like, oh, you're still good. But, going, your first win is against the Bengals, and it's still close. So I don't know how I feel about the Cardinals yet.
An 0-3-1 team versus an 0-4 team, and that's how you pick up your win.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to go down in history. That's for sure.
I was like, I guess you still got time. There's more. Maybe you can get some more wins.
The Raiders-Bears game in London, I thought the Raiders had that locked up immediately. Like 21-0.
I picked the Bears going in, which I think a lot of people did. And like it was.
I think you had to. Like Khalil Mack against his other team didn't even touch the quarterback.
That was bad. I think that really gave the Bears a hit because the NFC North I think is the most competitive division in this league, and it seemed pretty neck and neck. And I think people were thinking it was Packers Bears like usual, but I think it really hit the Bears down. And
I personally thought they would do better without Mitch Trubisky. And, they still did good the second half. The first half just was not pretty. Like, Chase Daniel did decent. Was it Chase? I think it was Chase Daniel, yeah. And Chase Daniel did decent. There's so many backup quarterbacks coming into play this season. It's difficult to remember.
You're absolutely right.
That was a game they should have won. That was a game the Raiders shouldn't have let get that close. Yeah. But that's a win nonetheless for them. Packers-Cowboys, that's a huge game, especially for the Eagles. That puts them into first place in the NFC East. Packers just looked brilliant.
Yeah, I went into that game being like the Cowboys are overrated. Yeah. And by that, I don't even mean, I wasn't even trying to just be like they're bad.
That's not the Eagles fan mentality.
I'm not even trying to say the Cowboys are a bad team. Like, that's not what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But they were definitely getting a lot more hype than they deserve when they were literally just playing a 7-game preseason there. Like, wow, you beat the Dolphins and the Steelers. Like, great. Like, I'm not that high on you yet. And then they lose, and then even more so, they lose to the Saints, who had their backup quarterback who didn't even throw a touchdown.
As soon as they played pressure, it's just bad.
That was the Saints were their first good team, and it wasn't even the full Saints, and you couldn't even. And then you're like, oh, maybe that was just a fluke. A fluke. But then you see the Packers game, and maybe they came up to make it a little better of a a losing margin.
Were garbage time points, I
think.
Absolutely.
But it was terrible. Like, if I was a Cowboys fan, I would be embarrassed.
Awful. Dak did not look good. They let Aaron Jones. Dallas' defense is good. They're very good. Yeah. And that's coming from an Eagles fan. They are good.
Yeah, and the Packers are a good team, but still, you should have put some more competition there,
Like, they just rolled over, essentially,
so
as soon as it got going.
Yeah, I was just excited as an Eagles fan that finally the Eagles were getting considered on the same level as the Cowboys or vice versa. Because everyone was all like, the Cowboys are definitely winning the division, and I was like, I don't know. So now they are at the same
3-2.
Same 3-2, and then they're both going into games that the Eagles playing the Vikings, the Cowboys are playing the Jets. I think the Eagles will beat the Vikings.
I'm hopefully the Jets can beat the Cowboys.
So, but you never know now. But anyways, I can see us going into that matchup, Eagles Cowboys at Jerry World, with the same record, which will just make that a crazy matchup.
If Deshaun Jackson comes back for that game, that'll be huge.
That would be huge.
Don't want to talk too much about the Steelers-Ravens game. It was an exciting one. Mason Rudolph left the game. Saw Devlin Hodges.
Steelers fans just.
It's not the Steelers season. That's for sure.
I called them not to go to the playoffs before the season even started. And it's just really becoming truer and truer.
I think everybody in Pittsburgh or anybody that's a Steelers fan thought they would at least do somewhat better. They didn't look absolutely helpless against the Ravens. They actually picked Lamar off 3 times, I believe, held him to under 200 total yards. They looked good on the defensive side of the ball, but Juju finally stepped up, made a play, but then, of course, he had that punch out at the end that cost the Steelers the game. It's just going to be tough to overcome all this.
Yeah, I just don't see it, especially when the rest of their division is just doing pretty well. You know, especially the Ravens. Like, I think it will just be the Ravens winning that division, but definitely won't.
Yeah, that's very uncompetitive division this year. We got the Broncos picking up their first win against the Chargers, which was very surprising.
that was one I did not guess.
I don't think anybody guessed that.
Yeah.
Especially with Melvin Gordon coming back.
Yeah, I have Melvin Gordon on my fantasy, and that I was just waiting for him to come back. It has not done much to help
you
me.
started him as soon as he came back.
Well, yeah, my team was bad enough. I needed any help I
Needed
could
the
get.
boost. That may hurt him a little bit. I mean, he didn't play too much, but coming back and then playing the 0-5 Broncos or the 0-4 Broncos, but you come back that week and then do nothing and your team loses.
Yeah.
That's not a pretty image for him.
People were surprised by that. For sure, but good for the Broncos.
Finally. Then Sunday night we had the Colts upset the Chiefs. That was
probably the best game of the weekend.
I'm a big Indy fan this season. I love Jacoby Brissett.
I picked the Colts as my. I was like nothing official, but I remember at the beginning of the season, people, everyone talks like underrated team, and I was like the Colts, like absolutely, like I felt really good about them, and that was even before Andrew Luck left, and then Andrew Luck left, and I was a little unsure, but I was still feeling good about them, and now I'm like that really just instilled my confidence, and I just know for sure that I made the right choice that rated team, and that game was just awesome. Their defense was unstoppable.
Yeah, as soon as Andrew Luck left, I think a lot of Indy fans were like, "Whoa, this isn't good for us," but they still have one of the best teams they've had in recent memory. I think Jacoby Brissett, he came out firing, basically. He wanted to prove to everybody that he's got it and he's a good quarterback. And so far he's done that. He's second in the league in passing touchdowns, playing great, playing smart, and he led his team to beat the undefeated Chiefs.
It was just a great team effort all around on Indy's part, like, because the defense they put in 4 sacks when Patrick Mahomes had only been sacked 3 times through the whole season up till then. And it was just really like showing that the Chiefs are human. And just of all the teams to be the Chiefs, like I was glad it was.
Now, is this like a warning sign for Chiefs? Like, do you think a good defense can stop them and that maybe other teams are realizing this?
I would say that it's more like a wake-up call a bit for the Chiefs, that they might need to shake it up a little more because it's just going to get harder. And, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will predict the Chiefs to go to, like, the AFC Championship probably, and that means they'll match the Patriots again. And it's like,
of course,
and we saw how that went before. And many years, like, the Chiefs are just, that team that can't make it past,
they cannot perform.
And I just think that you should take all these little warnings as, like, signs that you need to, fix it up before you get
these
to that
primetime games for them, like Monday night, Sunday night playoffs. They never perform. Like when the spotlights are on them, they just can't handle it. I think.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer for them.
Absolutely.
Especially Andy Reid's a great coach, but they can't handle it.
I think it's an interesting discussion, like, if Andy Reid will ever get one, like, before.
He deserves one. He's been here long enough. He's paid his dues.
I just wonder, like, that's something interesting. Like, I'd like, you have to wait a couple years, I think, to see it, but I wonder.
All right, let's talk about this upcoming game, Giants-Pats, Super Bowl rematch, quotation marks were added there.
Yeah, I think there's, like, basically, this is just going to go one way. There's not a lot of question on this. I think the Giants have done fairly well for what they've been given.
Especially with what they were.
Rookie QB, like, not a very noteworthy roster otherwise. They lost Saquon. Like, but they've looked good. Yeah. But I'm sorry, the Patriots are just unstoppable.
Especially
it's just
with
not
Saquon out, Evan Ingram's out, Sterling Shepard's, all these injuries are just going to murder them tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got the Chiefs and Texans. Texans are coming off a great game. Deshaun Watson throwing 5 touchdown passes, all career high passing yards, career high touchdown passes, and he's playing Pat Mahomes. Those are 2 prolific quarterbacks, and we saw the Chiefs collapse last week. Do you think they can bounce back?
I think this game definitely comes to like momentum versus like, well, I guess I'll call it like revenge, like because it's like, are the Texans going to cash in on the momentum they just got from their past win, or are the Chiefs going to come back with like a fire from just losing at home? And I think I'm going to put, if I was a betting woman, I'd put my money on the Chiefs there.
Ooh,
just because I think the Texans are still. Now,
are we talking point spread, or are we just talking?
No, I think we
You're
close
thinking
game.
Chiefs straight up. All right.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but my heart says Chiefs.
I think both their defenses aren't good. It's going to be an offensive shootout the whole
Absolutely.
time. It's going to be deadly.
And I think the Texans are a little more shaky than the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, both defenses are really bad, and both QBs are just prolific young guys.
Probably high-scoring game then.
Skins Dolphins. Got to talk about the toilet bowl.
Toilet bowl. All right,
Love the toilet bowl.
Redskins.
Really?
Yes, because I just looking at their past games. The Dolphins haven't scored more than 10 points,
Which is sad.
The Redskins they're more of a share of their a little more of competition in their matchups. So
they have something for them. We don't know what it is, but the Redskins have something going for them.
Yeah, they lost their coach, but I think they'll get a win.
Yeah, I think that'll make them get a win.
But I just love the fact that these are 2 no-win teams. So either way, like there's gonna be one less team with no wins. There's 4 at this point, right?
I wish there was like 3 teams going into off season like with 1-15.
I kind of hate that they had to play each other because I'd like to see how long the Redskins and Dolphins could go.
That would be wonderful because they just don't. They look so hapless. Like they got nothing for them.
Yeah, it's the Redskins, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bengals. Yeah.
That's a rough one for them. So the Eagles Vikings. That's a huge divisional matchup for. Well, the Eagles in their division and then the Vikings in their division.
Yeah, because they're both in competitive divisions on their own, and these are both they're both in divisions where every win is going to count.
Yeah,
especially
if the Vikings win this and the Packers somehow lose to the Lions, then they're both 4-2, and I believe the Packers still have it, but they're both 4-2 at that point, and it's going to look really good for them at the end of the year.
Yeah. The Bears are definitely getting shoved down.
The Bears and the Lions are slowly making their way down.
Eagles Vikings is definitely going to be a competitive matchup, but I am betting on the Eagles because of their defense. Because Kirk Cousins is, he's Kirk Cousins.
And mediocre.
I'm just looking back at, I know it was just the Jets, but, our defense just looked unstoppable, and the Eagles' offense is still shaky, and it's not good when you think they're shaky against the Jets.
Yeah,
you can see how and they're really inconsistent in some ways. They could come against the Vikings, and it could be like NFC Championship 2017 and just like go off. I don't see that happening.
I'd like to see Jordan Howard run the ball a lot more per game.
I think they underuse him.
He blew up against the Jets, but then they just stopped. They were letting Carson throw, but for some reason he was missing passes, and that doesn't happen often. But his receivers do drop the ball constantly.
Absolutely. That is, I don't know, whenever it comes to the Eagles, it's like I don't know who to blame. Because I think it's both. Like, I think I see some throws when I'm like, what were you doing? And then there's others when it just goes through people's hands, like, much too often. Like, I love Alshon Jeffrey, but, like, come on.
Yeah, the numbers he's still putting up, though, with, I think, 10 touchdowns, 1,200 yards passing.
Absolutely, yeah.
With 20-plus drops on this season, their team's still 3-2. Yeah. He's still doing great. He's still pacing the league in touchdown passes.
Still have a lot of faith in the team, so that's why I think they will win.
Yeah. 49ers Rams. Huge game for both teams.
Okay. So even though they've let me down in the past, I'm picking the Rams because they lost their last 2, I want to say, in a row.
Very short totals, yeah. I think it's dropped 2
but
in a row.
they've been high-scoring games, small total, like you said, close games, and even though it was like the Bucs coming in to LA and scoring like 55 points on them, like they still they played the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are very good, and it was very competitive. And I just think they're more competitive than the Niners, even though the Niners are undefeated. Just like comparing each of the team's schedules and everything, I just think that the 49ers are going to get their one loss here.
Now, what do you think it means for the NFC West if the Rams end up winning this game?
Well, they definitely be closer to the Seahawks there.
That'll make
the Niners would still be at the top, I believe,
record-wise.
I still think it's between the Niners and the Seahawks there. Like, I don't think I would like a lot can happen. It's a long season, but I do think it's not the Rams season. Maybe a wild card. Still see the Seahawks picked as the wild card, but I think that's probably because they have the Niners.
It's just
but
because
the
Niners are undefeated.
I don't think it will be the Rams. Definitely not winning the division. I don't think so.
It'd be interesting to see the 49ers in the playoffs again.
I would,
especially their
I would love it. Be happy.
Terrible
to see
finish last year.
Yeah, I just love any change ups we can get, especially like the Rams. It's like, I'm sorry, with the disappointment you put up with the Super Bowl last year, like I don't know if I want to give you another chance. So yeah, like I'd love to see the Niners. I'd love to see the Seahawks back at it.
I think Russell Wilson deserves another one. He just plays so good. Well, any more games you want to highlight for this upcoming week here?
I don't think it's I remember I picked my can't misses, and I had trouble because there's a lot of the Lions-Packers game
that is a good game.
I'm going to pick the Packers though.
I think
I'm pretty high on the Packers.
The Lions and Packers, they always play each other really good.
It's going to be a great game, I think.
Matt Stafford will need to step, especially coming off a three interception game against Dak Prescott. This Green Bay defense is rolling. So Stafford's going to have to step up even more.
I do think on the flip side, if I had to just speak for the Lions, I think the Packers in the past, the Lions are one of those teams that will give them give them the L every once in a while, even when the Lions were kind of lower on the totem pole. But now I really think this division is Packers-Lions. Yeah, which is kind of a surprise.
That is a surprise because the Bears are coming up, but now they lost their QB. I didn't think it was that much of a disappointment for them, but it kind of hurt against them this week. We'll see how it works in the future for the Bears, but the Vikings are falling down too. Kirk Cousins is just not that guy that they paid the money for. So I think it's all Packers, and the Lions are somehow creeping their way back into it.
Yeah, but I still pick the Packers to win this.
You're still getting the Packers. Sure. All right, so let's talk about one huge coach firing, Jay Gruden. Everybody saw it coming, though.
Yep.
It was just...
I don't know if I saw it happening so early, but honestly, good for them, I guess.
Everything he did this season was just incorrect. Like pulling in your rookie QB that he apparently didn't even want in the draft and fought the owner on.
Yeah.
Putting him in to a terrible situation, down in the game.
I mean, I'm not a Dwayne Haskins fan, but how do you do a guy like that?
He set him up for failure there, and then the run game hasn't been effective. Darius Geis got hurt, but still, you have a good O-line, a decent O-line.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, you just look at that first game of the season. They came in shocked everyone, almost giving the Eagles a run for their money, and how do you fall so far so fast? Yeah, you weren't in a completely unhelpable team at the beginning, and it just seems like now there's just no help.
There's no fight to him.
I really am interested to see who they'll hire.
The interim head coach, I forget his name, but I don't think they're going to stick with anybody in that building. But they did pass up on guys they passed up on guys like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, these young successful coaches now, and so they'd be foolish to not look at the young coaching talent they have on their staff currently.
True.
But also with the just unsuccessfulness they've had, then you may just need to find an outside hire.
Yeah, I was like, maybe just get
out of there.
Change it up. But I think that they'll probably will go with someone young, considering their past kind of miss.
I think that's just the way the league's going. But because these young guys are just coaching great right now. They have a great mind. They're young, so they could be around for a long time. And I'd like to see who replaces the Redskins or becomes the Redskins' new head coach. I think it'll be an interesting one. But so you
For
want to
sure.
give me your top 5, your power rankings?
Oh, for the whole league?
Yeah, top 5 teams. Let's go.
Ooh, wow, this is on the spot. I have not thought about it. Okay, sorry. Gotta go Patriots.
Number 1.
Yeah, I think you just probably gotta
Mhm.
go number 1. I wasn't even thinking of that ranking, but yeah. I've got a couple in mind, but I gotta think of how to rank them.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'll go with mine.
Yeah, go
I'll give
ahead.
you some
Go
time.
ahead. Yeah.
All right. So number 1, you clearly have the Patriots.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm gonna put the Chiefs there just because they
Mhm,
lost
that's what I
one,
was
but
thinking.
they still look good. I think the Saints are definitely my number 3. Then the 49ers are 4 just because of their record.
Mm.
And then 5, I'm going to put the Seahawks there. A lot of people will put the
Ooh.
Packers in the top 5,
Yeah,
but
I think I will.
I think the Seahawks are going to be better than the Packers this year.
All right. Well, as of right now, I'm gonna go Patriots, Chiefs. I liked the Saints, but I don't know if I'd put them so high just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably go Packers and then Saints. And then was that 5?
Yeah, I believe that was 5, yeah.
Okay. I like Seahawks, and I do think that they will
Mhm.
get there, but I'm not gonna put them there yet.
Not yet. You need to they need to show you a little more before you throw
Yeah,
them
I
up there.
guess. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. The rest of the
They're
league.
probably like top 10 for sure.
Yeah, the rest of the league, it's shaping up. A lot of 3-2 teams, a lot of 2-2 teams. It's just way too early to be
Yeah,
picking the rest of them.
I've seen like the NFL Instagram, like Facebook
Mhm.
posts like their playoff
playoff outlook. It's like,
yeah, right
okay.
now, and I'm like, all right, buddy, like a
It's
lot
like
can happen.
playoffs.
I mean, just look at so much has happened in just the past few weeks.
Mhm.
Because it's like a freak injury here,
So
something
many
else
freak
there.
injuries.
It's like literally everything can change in the blink of an
Yeah,
eye.
like the Giants were actually slightly in contention for the NFC East, and then Saquon goes out. More players get injured. Then you look at the rest of the
Yeah.
schedule, and you're like, all right.
I am proud of Daniel Jones, though. I will
He's
say,
stepped up.
he's someone I've always thought would be good. Honestly, like I was someone like when he was drafted.
Oh, so you weren't a hater?
No, when he was drafted, I was like, guys, like I feel good about Daniel Jones. Like just wait and see. Like I think you guys are gonna be eating your words, and then they were the Giants. Danny Dimes.
I think the only hating that I did on him was they drafted him so early.
That's true. That is
like
true.
so at number 6 for a guy you could have got. I mean, yes, the Redskins they really wanted him. Well, Jay Gruden wanted him, but that's obsolete now. That don't matter. He's gone. But you have everybody knows the bottom teams in the league. It's just going to be more. I think it'll be more interesting to see who gets the first overall pick, and
yeah, who's getting Tua?
who's getting to. I don't know. There's some decent college QBs right now, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
We got a
we'll get
little
some
bit.
time.
All right, so we're gonna do our 2-minute drill here,
Ooh.
just to get our last input and put some last thoughts on this. So I'm gonna go. We have Baker Mayfield, he's got some issues right now. He's struggling. He's not looking good, and he's just coming off as a jerk to the rest of the league. Richard Sherman publicly announced that he's going to apologize and text him because Baker was being, as he says, a player. He's being dangerous. Like, he was feeling dangerous, I think, and just didn't give him the same props that he gave him in pregame. But Baker will need to step up. OBJ is apparently on the market as of, I think, yesterday.
Is that right? I did not see that.
Yeah, they're shopping him around, which is very surprising.
Wow.
Yeah, but
No, that's a shakeup.
that'd be crazy to see him go already.
That would be insane.
Mhm.
Where would he go?
Patriots probably. With the
that's
NFLs,
just the way
it's the
the
Patriots,
are, honestly.
and it's just a bummer.
Yeah, that is bad because you think I could just think of so many places it'd be cool to see him, and that's
Mhm.
not one of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Steelers to kind of bounce back, but I'm looking mainly for Juju to bounce back because you see the type of player he is, and he's going to take that personally. That fumble hurt him, just like what he did in the Saints game. It was rainy. It was a tough time, but I don't blame that on him. He's going to bounce back and be great.
Mm-hmm.
What you got?
All right. Well, I already said it once, but I'm gonna say it again. I think the Cowboys overrated, and I'm just interested to see how that goes. Like, I want to see if they keep falling. I mean, they're gonna play the Jets, so they can probably beat the Jets. But I hope everyone doesn't instantly go like, "Oh, see, the Cowboys actually are good," because it's like, who can't beat the Jets right now,
Yeah,
And
everybody.
so that's one thing, and I just honestly I feel like they're not playing to their potential too. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not even trying to bash them. I don't think they're a bad team. I think they're good. They've got plenty of weapons, and it's like, why are you playing that way? So I just find that interesting. And then, what else is something interesting? Oh, well, the Jaguars played the Saints, and I don't think
Gardner
we
will
touched
show up.
on that, and I think that will be a very interesting game.
I think so too.
Because I love Gardner Minshew right now. I don't think he's perfect or anything. He's, he makes his mistakes. So I wonder how he'll do, because the Saints, even with a backup QB and everything, they look pretty unstoppable still. And I'm very interested to see how the Jags look, because the Jags are coming off a loss too. And it's, I think that's gonna be a good game. So.
All right, well, that is all. Thank you for tuning in to Run and Gun. I am Evan Lasek.
I'm Kelly Warner, and catch us on Penn State Sports Night.
Have a nice day.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter @PSSNTV and on Instagram @PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action.